And we're live. Welcome to Zetascope Movie Club. Woo! Woo! We don't have a impromptu ad-lib intro today, but that is no matter. We have such an amazing program for you tonight. And as always, we have our special guest panel and commentators. I'm your host for today, Chris and Ralph. We also have returning the only team I want to talk about movies with. We have Brian O'Halloran, Marilyn Gigliotti, Sun Kumanaki, and Crystal Starr. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
I have to scream because my microphone's busted.
It's okay.
Scream
okay.
louder.
I will scream.
Scream louder. Awesome. Wow. We have a bunch of people ready. What's up, Chicago Infinity? What's up, Robert? Other Robert, John, David, Chuck, Brian. Welcome. Tonight.
Is that Sir John?
No, it's John Hazel, but John the Mushroom Man, Sir John.
Yes.
Will be here. I love him. He's awesome. Charles Glass, welcome. Michael, yes, the people are pouring in. I love it. So as we wait for a little bit more people to pour in, I just want to give a little bit of housekeeping. We are talking about Dreamscape. If you haven't watched the movie yet, spoilers, but that's okay. We're still gonna have a lot of fun. Directly after this movie club live stream, if you're a VIP member, hop on over at 7:30 to the Zetascope VIP official Facebook group, and we'll be hosting our murder mystery or a Mardi Gras murder mystery night. And Crystal is one of the main players, so very exciting. And if you want to hang out with us until 9:30, 10:30, midnight, we don't know how long it will take. Just tune in with us. Crystal, no, it's not gonna be that long, Crystal.
Midnight, I'll have to bail early. We'll reveal the killer early.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And at 7:00, we'll be announcing the brand new cosplay cover for Movie Club. Sun's right here at the top of the show, so we'll talk about the cover with her. Very exciting. And just check your email or just mark your calendar or mark your alarms for 7 p.m. That's when the new cover color is on sale. So enough housekeeping. We are talking about Dreamscape. And I'm just going to give a brief synopsis, and then we'll just get into it. We'll do a bunch of commentary. We'll open up the Q&A, and then we'll give our final ratings at the end of the show. So the synopsis for Dreamscape, which came out in 1984, directed by Joseph Rubin, released in August 15th, 1984. Selfish teen Alex Gardner, played by Dennis Quaid, is coerced into joining a government project in which psychics like him are trained to enter other people's dreams. He starts learning to use his abilities to do good, but before long, a new official, Bob Blair, played by Christopher Plummer, seizes control of the project. A writer helps Alex uncover Blair's true motives, which involves an assassination of the United States president via his dreams. Soon, only Alex and his scientific companion, played by Kate Capshaw, stand in the way of preventing something terrible. And that is the synopsis of Dreamscape. So,
and spoiler alerts, just so you know.
There's a lot.
Spoilers.
A lot of presidential assassination attempts.
Yeah.
Yeah, back in the 80s, there was a lot of that. There was also a lot of movies about nuclear war and the fear of it. And this movie brought this to bear. There was also a lot of movies about getting into people's dreams. You had this, and you had The Dead Zone, and you had so many type of telepathy type of movies, right? The Stand. There's tons of them during that time that was kind of like, oh, well, if that worked, let's do our version of it.
What I found funny also in this description was it says a teenager. He's a teenager.
Oh, Dennis Quaid is supposed to be a teenager.
Really?
Well, I guess in the beginning of the film he was a 19-year-old psychic, and then it takes place 9 years after that. After he
yeah.
was
Okay.
studied.
That makes more sense.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
One thing that somebody had mentioned to me that they thought it was the first, but it's actually this, and then they corrected themselves. It's the second PG-13 movie ever.
Yeah,
Like-
under the
Oh.
MPAA. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was expecting some titties. I didn't get none.
We'll get some in the mail.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yeah,
Second
Dennis Quaid.
movie
It's a squad.
that Crystal has brought up the lack of titties. This is the second time. Titties, son. The movie's gotta have titties.
To be fair, I was expecting more titties because I sent Son the cover. I think it's like a German cover, and on the German cover, there's like their titties on the cover, like a woman naked in her dream, and this like claw coming out of her. It was very interesting. So I was like, all right, I can get down with this film. So I kept waiting and waiting, and even at the very end, when the dude's wife was trying to wake him up, I was like, we're gonna see her titties.
Right. You would think the lady cheating on his wife, the lady cheating on her husband rather would have had titties showing.
Yeah, but no, there were kids present, so kind of glad there were no titties there.
Yeah, that particular poster is part of this poster in the background.
Yeah.
Yep. And I believe there was actually like a partial nudity scene, but then it got cut out of the movie. So we were so close, Crystal. So close.
I'll have to look up the extended
It's
version.
sort of like a Zenoscope comic. It's like you get the covers and then inside there's no real titties.
You had a question about that on Twitter, didn't you?
Probably.
Speaking of posters, this poster, the American poster especially, is incredibly deceiving. Now I get it. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out 2 years prior. Everybody was on this kind of kick. Here it is. Kate Capshaw's in this movie the same year that Temple of Doom came out. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom. So it had this kind of cover that was like Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of feel. But then I was like, this ain't Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No, and he looks so much like Harrison Ford. It's crazy. Like his build, his hair, even the way he speaks, like his mannerisms are very Harrison Ford-esque. So I think
Very
that was
rugged, very rough around the edges, and that's not where the Indiana Jones similarities ends. I mean, you got a guy, his heart gets ripped out as well, like Temple of Doom. There was like a plucky kid that he teams up with. Obviously, Kate Capshaw. The poster art. I mean, but tonally, the movies are very different. Like Indiana Jones is, very pulpy, swashbuckly, historical. And this is like way more in the sci-fi thriller end of the spectrum. But it's interesting to see how much all those little cues like were parallel to each other.
It's funny because like I could not remember whether I had seen it or not. And in the very beginning, I'm like, okay, no, I don't think so. I was like halfway through, but I'm like, oh yeah, no, I think I have seen this.
very memorable movie.
I remember being very creeped out as a child watching it.
My brother, back when this came out, I think got a Halloween, one of those, latex rubber mask, Halloween masks of that snake head. And I remember it being like, oh, freaked out about it. But
Exhibit A of Snakehead.
I think that's what kind of I was like, oh yeah, no, that looks familiar. I think I've seen that before.
So I actually never seen this movie before. So like literally when Ralph and Son showed the cover or teased the cover internally, I went through this totally blind. Son, was this your first time seeing this movie? Or Oh.
I know, yeah, and I did the cover before watching the movie. So, but actually now I'm looking at it again. I'm like, yeah, it fits. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Struck a lot.
And Ralph, I think when did you first watch it? What was your first experience watching this?
I think when it first came out. So I was a kid. I was young. I was very young. I guess I was like 9. And I remember being scared, very scared and unsettled by it. Now looking back, that was probably I probably didn't need to be so scared.
What was most scary, like the Snake Man or just
Snake
Tommy
Man.
in general?
This guy stood out, like the razor.
Warriors.
Come out.
Oh my God, that's right.
Side note: we almost had him on tonight.
I would have loved that. I love
bring
him
him back.
so much.
I
Bring
tried.
him back.
He wasn't all that interested.
Oh,
He's part of so many great movies in the 80s. So many.
Yeah,
David Patrick Kelly, give it up.
we were
What a
close,
legend.
and then I think he just changed his mind. I think he was kind of like, forget it, I'm too busy. I'm better than you guys.
Oh.
Chuck, I was not 20 when it came out, you son of a. I was -4. -4. Yeah. So I somehow I remembered this. It's stuck in my crawl. So like that's why I wanted to rewatch it, because I haven't seen it since then. So I wanted to see if it held up at all.
I don't think any of us have seen it since then.
One of my favorite roles that that actor played was in Commando, when Arnold Schwarzenegger has him by the leg, and he was like, "Sully, remember when I said I'd kill you last? Yeah, you said you'd kill me. I lied." And then he lets him go off the cliff.
He screams his name as he falls to his death. He's like, he goes, "You lie." It's like the greatest.
48 Hours. He was great in 48 Hours too. Like so many epic 80s films he was great in.
I forgot he was in Commando. That is
Sully.
He also watches the plane take off.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sorry, I saw Commando too many times.
My gosh, I guess we have to do a Commando movie club now.
Believe me, the girls will love it. I still want to rewatch Commando.
I mean, it literally it was the following year. This was 84, that was 85.
Oh, right.
This was in his sweet spots of movies. 48 Hours, that was 82. So this was the nice sweet spot of his work.
And I think this came out before Nightmare on Elm Street, didn't it? Or...
Yeah, like 3 months before. Like Brian was saying, 3 months. So Brian was totally right. There was like a blitz of movies all about dreams. You had Brainstorm in 1983, which was a year earlier. Then you had this movie, and then Nightmare on Elm Street was released 3 months later. And then, the years since, there's just so many dream movies that really came out. I find that really interesting. It's kind of like a collective consciousness sort of thing, like some type of topic or source material, film, comics always comes back to. I find that really interesting that it all came out in like this very short time period.
Well, politically, the world was in a bit of a turmoil. You had East Germany trying to reunite with, main Germany. You had the threat of escalating nuclear war. So these kind of things was rife in movies and in storytelling in general. So to see nightmares come true, to see that this one, picked the topic of the president having a nightmare of nuclear war and stuff like that, it's not far off. Just like there'll probably be a plethora of movies coming out in the next 4 years about being isolated and secluded and quarantined and massive disease going around. So,
I mean, we kind of had movies already preempt that, like Bird Box. Bird Box was, I feel like, one of those big movies, like like everyone isolate each other and don't go outside, and and we live this weird pandemic society. And I went to this movie like zero context, so I had no idea there was like this heavy political context, heavy Cold War imagery, and like the beginning of the movie starts off with the nuclear apocalypse, and that was like the main motivation for the bad guy. He was like, no, we can't reduce our nuclear armament. We can't look weak in front of the Soviets. No, so I'm gonna kill the president via his dreams, so I can push my political agenda. That was completely left field, and I'm like sort of a political junkie, so I found that as like a really nice surprise.
perfectly played by Christopher Plummer. He wasn't violent himself. Like, he was just this smooth mother who just like made sure things were getting done his way, and he convinced people to do things his way in a very charming way. I was waiting him to break out the guitar and sing Edelweiss to everybody. It was awesome.
It's funny because we recently lost Christopher Plummer, and it was when seeing all these tributes to him that I first made the connection. Is like, oh my God, that's the same guy as Sound of Music. I never connected it, and it's like, oh my God, of course, obviously it's him. It's like he looks the same, but and it's still so debonair looking and stuff. But I think he stood out above and beyond everybody else on this film.
He was chilling. It was really.
He was so good. Just from his first line, he was just so above everybody. And it's not like they were all veteran.
Listen,
Max newbies.
Sadal, man, he's another giant of film. So I think the two of them are equals.
Yeah.
It was so surreal because like this movie has so many great talent, and I mean, Christopher Plummer passed away. Max passed away last March, so and it was to me that was the youngest I've ever seen Max in the film. I mean, I'm not quite sure what other famous films he did in his younger days, but like I know him in his later life, like National Treasure or his role in Star Wars, or I think it was like The Force Awakens. He was like one of the guys in the beginning. Which is also really funny because he also met, like, one of the characters mentioned, how did you design this dream machine? Did you see Darth Vader once too many times? I thought it was really kind of poetic that he ended up in a Star Wars movie later in life.
We also got a Norm shout out because there was a little George.
That's right.
There was some George Wendt going on, and that was height of Cheers, I imagine.
Correct. So this is where we need you. We want to do this, and you're in a bar. Oh, come on, really? You're in a bar. That's how we're starting this.
It took me a while to place him as well.
What?
I didn't watch Cheers.
Me either.
Yeah.
Wow. You gotta
I watched Frasier during quarantine.
You gotta watch Cheers. Cheers holds up. Yeah. George Wendt. I totally forgot he was in this, but if I knew, I would have reached out to him to get him. Surely he would have joined us.
His character was done dirty. Like I felt
So
like
dirty.
so dirty, like right in the middle of the crowd, and then there wasn't really a police follow-up investigation. Like his body just like out of sight, out of mind. Like
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
There's no Norm Justin.
Cheers. Yeah, I'm still
I
like.
have a question. So he starts off as this, you see him as a kid or teenager, and then he leaves that program and he decides to become a gambler with horse racing. How do you think he was using his powers in?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
In what way?
We don't know. Well, I don't know.
They were saying he's like psychic, so
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
since he's psychic, he can predict the races. I mean,
Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
I
It's
was
weird. Did he
I don't-
wait until the stable for the horse to sleep and he got in its and you're going to run quicker today? I don't know.
No, see, I don't think it was done in the same context as the dreams were or anything like that. It's just
It
just
is
like anybody's.
interesting.
maybe he had like some ESP, some precognitive
Yeah,
ability.
Like to be able to go into the dreams, you had to have this psychic ability. But in the dreams, the usage of your psychic ability wasn't really the same application as you would use it outside of the dreams.
Right.
I love how
It was an interesting kind of.
it was so fast. It was like, I think he had maybe helped 2 or 3 people, and then he immediately got to make love to that lady in his dream, like without any hookups or
Yeah, that's
anything.
right. Oh, that was the best part when he makes love to her. And then
I agree. That is my favorite part of the movie, for
It's
sure.
weird because it's like he's kind of like, well, she's like, well, I guess I can't be mad because it wasn't real, and it was kind of like,
Well, didn't you notice I did it?
I mean, it's like in today's day and age, though, it's like, okay, would it be considered rape?
it was creepy. It was a little.
I'm gonna go with yes on
Yeah.
that one.
I felt uncomfortable watching that. It was like
Yeah.
this.
Even
Really?
to do it in-
Didn't want it.
it was still like a weird like moment where it's like, okay.
I'm sorry, but she shouldn't have dressed that way in her dream then. She was asking.
Wow.
I had weird flashbacks when watching that scene to like Demolition Man with like Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone like having sex for the first time. They put on the helmets and you start seeing Sandra Bullock's face flash into his head. That's what I thought.
That train scene reminded me of Risky Business, says David Ross.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Risky Business.
Yeah,
I
but
think
those were two consensual adults, one being a professional, no less.
Hey, what color was his shirt in Risky Business when he like comes out?
White. It was a white.
I think so. It was white.
Yeah, I think so.
White, not pink.
Oh, pink.
Mm.
Was it
Wait. I don't know.
Continue amongst yourselves. I'll be back.
Well, remarking on that scene, in the dream, they saw the conductor, and at the end of the movie, they saw the same conductor. I thought, was that like a nod to like, what, did Total Recall come out then, or is that?
No,
I don't know.
90s. That was 1990 maybe.
Yeah, I didn't know if they were trying to imply like, Dennis Quaid was imagining this happy ending the entire time, and he actually died while trying to save the president, or I mean, I think
or they were in a dream. Were they in a dream?
Oh yeah, I think the director just having is like, hey, let's do this, and it's like let's see what everybody comes up with on that.
Yeah, let's get people talking. Yeah,
deliberately ambiguous. Yes,
Inception was
It was pink.
Exactly like Inception. Yeah.
Risky Business shirt was pink.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
We
so that's one of those weird mind things. If you ask anyone who's over 35, they're going to tell you it's white. And if they're under 35, typically they'll say pink.
I said pink. I think.
So
a whole bunch of images of that looks white to me, but that's just me.
Sounds like.
You mean like the blue dress?
right? Exactly.
Is it gold or I don't know.
So what were everybody's favorite parts?
I want to. I'm sorry, Chris. Before, yeah.
Ralph, you're going to have to like yell.
Yeah, you enunciate, or
I
shout
can't.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It's
actually
kinda,
worse.
Sorry, working on it.
All right, Ralph, what were you trying to say?
How's that? Is that better or worse?
no.
Absolutely the same. Sorry.
Like all these settings I'm trying, and it's not.
Just shout.
You guys start. I'm going back to the.
Okay. Well, I think Crystal was asking what was our favorite scenes. Yeah.
Not sure that I have one.
I don't know if it's my favorite scene. I thought it was definitely the scene that like really maybe do a double take. So I don't know if this answers the question, but like they're in the dream sequence that they're chasing after Tommy, and they're running through a new train car, and then Tommy just throws this really strange line. He's like, "Do you watch Bruce Lee movies? I watched Enter the Dragon 6 times," and he starts pulling in nunchucks. Yeah, and I was like, okay.
Well, he's got the poster in his bedroom as well.
He's got like 5 of them. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That just made me really laugh because I thought it was pretty cringe, but it was so bad. It was so good. So yeah. So that was my most surprising scene in the movie. If I had, I guess, favorite scene, heart out of the police cop. I don't know.
My favorite. Can you hear me still or no?
Can you?
Yeah.
You can hear.
Okay, that's at least I'm still there. My favorite scene is the fact that he found a phone booth in the middle of the parking lot. So the car could run him down. The logistics of the phone booth make 0 sense.
Mhm.
But
Well, that was a push by a one Clark Kent to make sure that there were always phone booths in various locations in case Ed Clark Kent had a scoop on a story that he needed to get to a phone to.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was a bit funny.
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, why is this phone booth there? And then, of course, the car was like right there, and you waited.
I have a theory that phone booth wasn't actually a phone booth. It was like the TARDIS phone booth from Bill and Ted, and they just happened to stumble upon it.
They left the phone booth. They were out in that world. That makes sense.
Yes.
My scene was the first Buddy dream when he first entered, and they first encountered the Snake Man and the father's like, "I'm not helping you," and then you hear him get tripped as they're chasing you through what looked to be a precursor to a future Beetlejuice set.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one of my favorite parts is that set.
Exactly.
And the stairway on that, like the big long one, I just thought that was so clever to use all the crazy, like the doors that were, slanted, because for me personally, when I dream, structures are always like very similar to that. The structures are never really sound. So for me, I really, really felt like that was a really great way to incorporate the dream world. So do you guys dream like that, or
like have weird, crazy, non-Euclidean dream logic type of architecture, or just like you're being chased by something?
More the architecture.
No, not for me.
From time to time, it always depends on what the action is going on, motive, I guess. And then if it's kind of like, I couldn't get to this thing, it was like a forever doors were just in my way, or things like that. So
yeah.
It's like
what about you, son?
I get dreams all the time. Oh, my favorite, I got like crazy dreams though. They're all nightmares a lot of the times, actually.
Oh.
But when I wake up, they're not as bad because they're like, that was really stupid. Like, why was I so scared? No, my favorite part was, I'm gonna have to say, I know everyone's gonna cringe, but it was Jane's dream, okay? Because I was like half awake and it woke me up, okay? Because I was like, something interesting's finally happening. And I don't think it was a rape scene. I think that she actually really wanted him, and I think that she was like, well, I might as well kind of enjoy it in my dream, like since it's not, since we can't
right.
do it in real life.
Can you?
Yeah, she didn't object until she realized he was sitting in the room with her.
Yeah, until she realized, oh wait, you're in control of that. Like, that's not. But anyway, because before, I think that the beginning had a really slow start. So I was falling asleep, so that woke me up.
It's a very
And I also figured that, like, if he's really good at guessing, the card, like the color of the card that you're holding, he's probably really good at guessing other things.
Right.
I'll be a great partner.
Beautiful.
really
someone get the porn version of this script over to the Valley really quick.
Yes.
Yes, I think dreams. The problem with these dream movies is dreams are never this like linear or normal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to like do a dream in a movie because no one ever has a dream where things are so succinct.
Yeah.
So you have to get really weird in order to pull that off.
It's interesting. Like, I don't know how much the technology or the practices have evolved over time, but I know like they've been working on type of techniques with a bit of like treatment and like therapy plus technological elements where they're trying to train people to lucid dream on command, or like, and so you can actually like, you're still dreaming, you're still REM sleep, but you still have autonomy and control and agency over your own dreams, which is so that is rooted in like scientific foundation, which I find really cool. I don't know where they are at in that type of field, but it is something that people are working on.
Yeah, I think the technology you're thinking of is a thing called Facebook.
Wow, so true.
This website, I don't know what happened.
I do remember for myself, it's like I had a period of time where I was having like some really bad dreams, quite a bit, like each night. And I think I might have read somewhere where it's like, just kind of tell yourself before you go into sleep, it's like, just remember it's a dream, whatever happens. And it's like, and I would remember, it's like in my dream, I'd be like, oh, this is a dream. It's not going to bother me or anything like that. And I'd be okay. So I found that weird.
So that was my next question. Can you guys, A, tell when you're dreaming, and B, can you control it?
Sometimes.
Can you control your dreams?
Sometimes.
Yeah, it's sometimes as well. Yeah.
A lot of creatives talk about the idea. I know Stephen King's talked about it, of lucid dreaming and practicing lucid dreaming. Like, he actually puts it into practice so he can apply his lucid dreaming to his writing. I would love to.
Isn't that called marijuana?
Yeah, Stephen King also did a lot of drugs.
Ayahuasca.
David Ross says
He lives
LSD.
in Maine, so that's witchcraft, I believe.
I mean, learning to lucid dream that easily, though, that would be pretty cool.
Well, I can actually help you guys with that. So
Oh, you can? How? What do you mean?
Oh,
Oh.
Mia, that's really fascinating.
Yeah, tell us
Oh.
more. So earlier, I guess in 2020, I bought myself mushroom pills on Amazon. They're not like the psychedelic mushrooms, but they're like energy mushroom pills. But when I started taking those, I started getting insane dreams. And I was like, I knew I'd be getting the dreams. So I started to be able to not like control them. I couldn't like be God or anything in my dreams, but I definitely could venture off and do things that I normally wouldn't do because I knew that I was dreaming, if that makes sense.
That would be
So
cool. I would enjoy
I would
it.
highly recommend some mushroom
I want
pills
to
for
use
y'all.
Your mushroom pills.
They're not psychedelic mushroom pills.
So, Crystal, so when you're like in this intense lucid dreaming, like your brain's working in overdrive, do you feel tired when you wake up? If your
I do.
brain's
I do.
Oh, okay.
Hey, John, mushroom pills for the win.
Mushroom
Shut up,
pills.
John. That's the mushroom man, by the way. I've had
That's
this
John the
conversation
Mushroom Man.
a lot with him on my Twitch.
And will provide us the mushroom pills because he owns the mushroom farm.
Yes.
And she wakes up from Crystal wakes up from her dream and she's like, I don't know what's going on. Why? So weird. Like I can't sleep.
That is the best setup ever.
People are flipping out. Like, what's going on? Like, what's going on?
I finally figured out how to fix my microphone. I think it's back.
Mushroom pills, the same as looking a toad. I don't know.
Maybe not.
Chris, what was next on the agenda, by the way?
Oh, we talked about favorite parts of the movie. I guess with this movie, like at least like half of the movie being the dreamscape. I know, like it came out in '84, so some of the practical effects aren't the best. But was there any production design, or I mean, we mentioned like the crazy hallway, but is there any other costume special effects that you found that made it for a really convincing display of it being the dream reality?
I like the fact that they were able to recycle in the President's Dream the set from Escape to New York, from New York. A disruptive cityscape that just like an Escape from New York. I was like, oh, recycling, that's good.
Yeah.
With the Twin Towers as well.
The Twin Towers, right?
Is makeup included in this?
This was the creepiest part of the movie for me.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
for sure.
Oh,
Hands
I would
down.
say so.
Boy Snake.
especially when he's like,
Hands down.
"Daddy."
I love you, Tommy.
Really gross.
I loved you.
It's like he killed his dad, but he's like super, like, I'm sorry I killed you, Daddy.
Yeah. It gives me chills on my back.
Why did I kill you, Daddy?
It was definitely an 80s film, just by the music and the way that it was shot and all the special effects. But the special effects, I will say, they were pretty decent, as far as like the prosthetics and all.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the music for a hot second. I felt like some of the music was really terrible at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning, I was just like, "This is that free music."
Yeah,
And then I didn't have
Synthesizers.
time. What'd you say?
It's synthesizers.
Yeah, but like they didn't fit with the they were like
Yeah.
harsh, and
Yeah.
it wasn't a harsh time. I was
So
just
they were
like,
trying to build tension where there didn't need to be, I guess.
That's where you see in a production where they've really started to run out of money in the edit, and they're like, "Well, now we need all right, everything's put together in the edit. Now we need a score." And the guy's like, "Oh, I totally forgot to budget for a score."
Right.
yeah.
You have a
The music.
character now? Hey, does anybody have a Costco we could use?
Yeah, it sounded like their friends just made it, and it was just.
Yeah, the music was composed by Maurice Jarre, Jarre. I'm not sure what other works they worked on. To me, the music super synth heavy, which was not uncommon for the time, but like I felt like the audio balance was really off. Like it felt like the music was blaring way higher than it should have been, and it just kind of knocked me out of the immersion of the movie, especially the beginning of the film. And I don't know, I felt like the music detracted the experience more than it helped. Like it's supposed to establish tone and a sense of suspense, especially when you're in the dream world. And to me, it just kind of like distracted me. It's like, why is this music so crazy right now? So.
Yeah.
Charles says he thought it was the best music ever.
I just looked up the person who composed the music. He did films like Ghost, Witness, Zhivago, Lawrence of Arabia, School Ties, Only the Lone, Jacob's Ladder. So this guy was a part of it, like Dead Poet Society. So he knew about music. He probably just wasn't paid.
Yeah, zero budget.
Yeah, it was.
Anybody have any ridiculous scenes they thought were ridiculous?
Okay, the one thing that just really stood out to me is that every time Dennis Quaid was running, it just looked so funky.
Yeah.
And what it reminded me of was a scene in Friends where Phoebe is jogging and Rachel wants to go with her, and then Phoebe sees her running. She's like, "I don't want to run with you anymore." It's like because she flaps her arms. Yeah, so I thought that was funny.
I wonder why that was. I guess it was because he's running in place. Was he running?
I feel like it was supposed to be comical because there were like multiple times he did it really bad, even when he was getting on the bike and like his legs were like flaring. Like I think they weren't 100% sure what they wanted his character to be, so they wanted a comedic relief, but it just came off kind of weird.
I think I mean, you know who the best runner is in all of Hollywood? The best runner of all time is Tom Cruise. I don't know if you guys knew this. Think about how good of a runner Tom Cruise. No one's ever been able to do it like Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You know, the guy who am I missing a joke?
No, for real.
Yeah, we're all waiting for it, Ralph. We're all waiting.
No, because I would have to say that you know, in the original not the original in Terminator, where you got the metal guy and he's like, you know, doing
He was a good runner.
He was.
What the hell's his name? Oh God, we're doing Terminator this year.
Hey, spoilers.
Not Terminator 3 though.
Actually, I mean, it's not really spoilers. Like the schedule's in our comic books now, so you should check it out. Check out our comics.
Okay, so Philip says Forrest Gump is the best runner in Hollywood. So
Of course.
I'm gonna go with Philip on this one. Yeah.
Every movie Tom Cruise runs in.
Oh, and Tom Cruise does all his own stunts, and like he's flying in his own F-14 Tomcat and like Top Gun 2.
I don't know if you ever watch any of the Steven Seagal movies and watch him run. He runs weird. He has his hands like a T-Rex.
Like a T-Rex.
He doesn't know how to run. The worst runner ever freaking invented. Whatever that means.
Somebody's saying that Chuck is saying that Dennis Quaid is running in front of a green screen, but no, not all his runs were in front of a green screen. Even when he wasn't, when you could physically see that he was actually, you know, like in outside running. He was
when he was at
just
the horse stadium thing.
Yeah, he was a goofy. He was a goofy runner.
Everybody go here. Tom Cruise likes to run is the name of the video. It's all cuts of Tom Cruise running. You'll see what I mean.
I think my weirdest part of the movie was when you're in the dream of the wife banging all the dudes.
Yeah.
At the very end, it's like the priest and
the mailman, I think.
Like
No, the gardener.
The gardener, that's right.
Yeah, the gardener, but the gardener's got like the Asian hat on, and and he's just like, like,
and he says like, "Not you too, Fukuda," or something like that.
Yeah, but his response is probably that I laughed the most at that point. I rewound it and watched it like 3 times. So I was like, cool. But
the fact that the guy
I'm trying to remember that part.
His golfing buddies were under the bed.
The priest.
And he's like,
the whole thing.
He like puts the cross up and he's like, no, don't do that. I'm Jewish. Yeah.
Yeah, his twin brother was there too.
with the baldness. Yeah. And then his toupee falls off. Yeah. I thought that was pretty good. Like, I mean, for the movie, like there were some good parts of it. There were some really weird, slow parts. But when it got good, I thought it's worth a watch.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was good. I mean, it was definitely slow. It was good.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most movies back then were like kind of paced. Like that was just the pacing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's not any longer than other movies. It was about like an hour and 30 minutes. It felt long though. I remember like pausing it a lot because yeah.
Okay, so I was watching it last night for the first time. I had to finish it this morning because as I was watching it, and this is the first time the snake monster comes out, they're like, the boy literally goes to like chop off the snake monster's head and my lights go out and on. And I was like, and then all of a sudden the lights go out and this crazy loud noise and blue lights go off in my backyard. And I was just like, what the actual, but I'm in Texas. So we got rid of the snowstorm. And then last night we had a giant thunderstorm and lightning struck the transformer right behind my house. I had to finish the movie this morning, but last night.
Were you watching this movie and then you were having some mushroom capsule?
Oh.
Maybe you were just I don't know. Lucid. Is this show even happening?
Wake up, Crystal, wake up.
Oh my gosh. Y'all make me look like a druggie. No.
You make it sound like that, girl. I don't know.
But yeah, it was I won't ever forget the movie or that scene. But
Crystal's sucking up more mushrooms than Mario.
I think all the strange scenes that just come back to me is just anytime Tommy is on screen, like the first time he's on screen, he's trying to like put up a really tough front in front of Dennis Quaid. So he comes walking in as Dennis is getting out of the shower and he's playing the saxophone really, really badly, trying on his clothes. I think I really wasn't sure what he was trying to do. And this is like before you knew anything about Tommy. And then there was this other scene where he's just eating a sandwich really aggressively after killing the old lady.
He was very aggressive. He looks a little like Ed Norton there, right?
I'm sorry?
A little Ed Norton.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Like a little bit there, like a young.
Yeah.
No.
Mm-hmm.
But how many of you, when he was playing the saxophone, going, "Oh my God, he's got his lips on that thing"? Ah.
Oh my God. Yes.
There's a lot of movies now, actually, when people like touch their face or like anything like that. I'm like, oh God, don't do that. It's silly.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, our generation is going to be interesting in a few years.
Anybody catch any bloopers?
I'm sure there were, but I didn't really catch it. Let me.
I didn't catch any. So
Tell us, Ralph.
me-
Tell us the bloopers.
I saw that question that you had up there, Chris. So I figured I'd answer. I don't know if I noticed it.
True man strikes again.
IMDb has a couple of goofs.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, so when Alex and Dr. Novotny are sitting in the bar, apparently there's a couple of scenes where the volume of the glass changes from empty to full. I did not notice that.
I think that happens with everything.
Yeah, I mean, like, you're shooting a movie multiple times. Sometimes even the best directors can miss something tiny. I mean, not too long ago we had Game of Thrones and they left a Starbucks cup.
Starbucks! I love those memes.
Funny in movies is when I was just rewatching Sopranos again, and like they're always eating in the Sopranos, but like if you watch them eat, they're always like stirring they're like stabbing at their food, but never really eating the food. I'm like, nobody in an Italian family has ever eaten that way in their life. Like, chocolate in our faces. Like, nobody just stabs at their food and plays with it while eating. But you have to for continuity, guys.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm a big stickler about that on sets. If I'm given a drink to drink, or if someone saying we're going to smoke, I have a cigarette. I'm on top of it, annoyingly so, to the point where the prop person goes, "I know. All right. Yes, Brian, we know. You took something. Oh, okay. When I started, it was here. Now it's here. So you got to like fill that gap before we take another day."
I did, guys.
And this time I want real alcohol.
I mean, now you have to be so diligent about that when you have entire YouTubers like CinemaSins who will pick your movie apart, and rewind the movie all the time.
I do it all the time. I'm like, sandwich is back. It was not there before.
Yeah.
So what were some of y'all's least favorite parts of the movie?
This movie, there's no bad part of this movie.
Really?
Really?
I don't know if I have one that stands out. I didn't.
There was no waste of time. I don't feel like I mean, maybe talking to the kid in the park initially about his dream was a little longer than I would have kept it in the movie, but
Yep, that part was irritating for me as well.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of exposition in this movie, which I felt could have been cut out, but I can see why they wanted to establish Alex as like a medium and trying to get away from his cynical attitudes to someone more benevolent, and then the massive B plot of like trying to save the president. So, but
I feel like they could have done more with what's her name, the doctor,
Kate
girl.
Dr. Jane DeVries. Yes,
She was a little bit like there to be like. She was fine. I think they could have done a little bit more of that.
She was just,
She was like the
prop.
I can't be the love interest.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's common for 80s and 90s, especially, and maybe. But
I would have added more to George Wendt's character, like something like killing them so early on kind of spoiled the whole like, well, that's not going to happen now, as opposed to there could have been a very close release of this information to the general public, and then they got to him perhaps. But, I can see why they'd want to edit it down. I mean, the movie is 139 minutes already. So, or an hour and 39 minutes, excuse me. Yeah, that's what this says. So that part, could have been more. Kate Capshaw's character as the doctor could have went more in depth, but there are other movies. There's, Scanners, like I was saying earlier in the show, like, there were so many of these type of movies. That one with Wood, Brain, something.
That's what I usually do.
Natalie Wood was part of his film that was similar to this.
Natalie Wood.
Oh,
It was that type of thing where people's dreams and stuff like that.
But yeah, that was big. That was a big thing for a while. You're thinking West Side Story.
Oh, Brainstorm from 1983.
Yes, Brainstorm. See, that happened in '83. This is in '84. This was that time where people's like, oh, and Brainstorm actually did well, I believe.
And it had Christopher Walken in it too. So good.
Exactly.
Son, what about you?
Like my least favorite part?
Yeah, or anything that
Or anything that kind of like just bothered you a little bit that you're like, or just anything that stood out that you were like, that's weird.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be the scene when the kids were watching. That was not cool.
It was cringe.
Going, like,
It was so cringe.
That was really messed up, man. That's all I gotta say.
I thought to myself, like, all right, they weren't in the same room when the lady's like on top of them. Like they had to have been shot just by themselves looking. And then I was like, how old are they? Are their parents going to let them watch this movie? Are they going to get to see the scene that they're in? Like, how do they feel about this when they're older? I always think about that when you have like weird, bizarre.
How they feel about
I mean, this movie really earned its PG-13 rating, right? So
It did, and no more.
Do you want to do grades? Should we do grades?
Yeah, it's almost 7, and I know we want to give Sun some time to talk about her awesome new cover.
We usually
So let's
give grades before the cover reveal, correct?
Yeah, and I do have a spreadsheet and I have a graph of all our ratings so far. So look,
look at that.
so organized and so pretty. So you see, so on the x-axis you have all of our names. You can see that Joe has been missing for 2 movies, so that's why he only has 2 bars. On the y-axis, you have our ratings, and then the colors correspond to each of the movies. So blue, Creepshow; red, Escape from New York; yellow, Edward Scissorhands; and green, Underworld. So
I have a stick with you already with your Creepshow rating. What's going on there?
Wow, I have the most negative outlook on all of them.
But Crystal and Sun, you gave.
He's a 4.5. It's ridiculous.
I love that Crystal and Sun, you have given us our first ever 5 or only 5s on this entire program history, and that's all.
And the only 2s. Wait, Ralph's given a 2 as well.
I have.
We're extreme people. What can
I was
I
gonna say we either love it or we hate it.
I really didn't think that too, but it really earned its place.
Well, Edward Scissorhand deserves a 5, so like, let's be real.
It deserve a 5.
Yeah.
What do you
So I just want to thank you all for bothering me each episode to make this graphic. It's here. I will keep on updating it, and we'll have it for posterity because we love data.
You can sell it to Facebook.
Crystal is the most all over the place, I think. By the way,
But why is it titled Zeboscope?
I just noticed that. My bad. I literally just noticed that.
Inside joke that I don't know. Have you started your own company behind your back?
Zeboscope is our front company, our shell company.
Oh my god. To be fair, the B is right next to the
Well, it's canon. It's canon. It has to stay there forever now.
I was giving you credit for your graph, and this is what you get.
One step forward.
Hold on.
It started.
Oh no, what happened?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Ralph, he censored me. I'm sorry. So anyway, I'm so sorry. Let's get the ratings.
This is the timeout.
Some aces, hashtag Zeboscope.
Hashtag Zeboscope.
He doesn't do
Nice.
typesetting or editing for the company, does he? Because
Yes, Philip, you're right. I am not. I will never make editor in chief. Dave holds that mantle for all time because he's the best. So.
Okay. What are we thinking? Who wants to start? Who wants to begin with their rank?
2.5. This is a
2.5.
It's
2.5.
that
I'll
your
put it on the
lowest rating?
spreadsheet.
How many dreams? Is it just out of
Yeah,
dreams?
this is going to be my lowest rating of movies. Yeah, 2.5 only because it was good, But looking at the Zebascope chart, these things that I gave Escape from New York 3, and if I'm going to be even with my other type of ratings, and you can't lie to Zebascope, as we all know.
Don't lie to Zebascope.
So I'm giving it 2.5.
2.5.
2.5.
I am updating the sheet right now.
2.5. Update the Zebascope graph, please.
Yeah.
Marilyn, do you want to go?
I give it a 2.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't care for it
I
so
really
much.
didn't like this movie.
No, not really.
Even the young Dennis Quaid didn't do it. Teenage Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't
A
really
2.
thrilled
That
with
might
it.
be your low. That's your low, right?
That is.
Let's
Was
check
it?
Join me to the low
What?
side.
I'm surprised. It's like I'm trying to remember. It's like, are those my true scores that I actually gave? Because I would have thought. I would have
Don't deny the fact finding of Zebascope. There,
Zebascope does not make mistakes.
like because with Creep Show, it's like Creep Show. It's like I was just like I couldn't wait for that to end.
I feel like Creep Show was funnier than this one.
yes,
Like,
it was.
so bad that it was like entertaining to watch. I felt like this one was not like god awful, but it was just on.
So what do you give it?
It's okay to give a 1, Crystal. It's okay.
I feel really bad giving it a 1. Can I do like a 1.5 so I don't feel so bad?
It's still the lowest grade ever for a movie. So
Well, I'm gonna go 1.5 just because I felt like it had its moments, and I definitely loved the snake creature thing. But will I ever watch this again?
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
Well,
But thank you guys for making me watch movies I'll never watch again.
to be fair, you could probably watch this again after popping some mushrooms.
I might try that, Brian. I might try that. In 2 years. I'll give it 2 years.
Who's up? Let's see. Is it me?
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Son, what did you give it?
Nothing yet.
Oh, you
I was
didn't
going to give it 2 sleepy boners. Counting boners.
2 sleepy boners out of 5 sleepy boners.
amazing.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. That the whole discussion about how many erections the guy would have during their sleep, and that's how we know. Oh, that's right. That's a creepy part of the film, to be honest with you. Owner counter? Is that what she just said? I was in a movie about the jizz mopper, and this is a movie about boner counting.
It's for science.
Thank you for
Everybody
on that.
We've lost water.
The moral of the story.
Oh my god.
Boners. That's
I
Beautiful.
can't wait to see how that rating shows up on the chart.
Yes, I'm gonna change the metric to all sleepy boners. Like, Joe's gonna see it. What is this? And then it's gonna be great.
done.
Well, you can say, don't worry, Joe. It's just for Zebascope. It has nothing to do with us.
This is true. We are not legally liable because it's Zebascope, so we can't be sued. We can't be canceled. It's great.
I'm changing my background.
Zebascope comics.
It's gonna get you on the neck.
I can't wait to see Sun's cover for that.
Very good. Thank you, son. That was a gift. I'm gonna give it.
Talk about
two
Ralph real
sleep-
quick.
Oh,
Oh.
oh gosh.
Sorry, Chris, go ahead.
Beautiful. I'm gonna give it 2 sleepy boners as well. Like, this movie was
A lot of boners being thrown around, guys.
pardon the crudeness, but the movie wasn't stimulating. Like I fell asleep too. I kept pausing the movie. The movie dragged. There was too much exposition, and like there were some cool parts. I love Tommy's character, and I thought the Snake Man was pretty cool, and like the weird psychedelic hallway dream scene, but all that was not enough to save this movie. I mean, it was I enjoyed myself watching the movie, but it's not a movie I would watch again. You know,
I think there's a reason why this is not like a cult classic.
Right. Wait. How many boners did you give it, Chris? How many boners?
Two.
Because I mean, this is Christopher Plummer, Max von Sydow, Dennis Quaid, Kate Capshaw, David Patrick, and it's
a little late.
Fell flat.
I'm disappointed in Chris because he gave Creepshow like 15 stars. And
hey, Creepshow's great. I will defend Creepshow.
It was bad, but it was fun.
Just based on this concept, the concept is they should redo this movie. This is a movie they should actually remake.
I agree. I
agree.
For sure.
Yeah, I can see this being a badass movie. And the poster was amazing. Well, both of the posters, honestly. I personally like the one behind Chris more. I love that poster. Like when I looked this up, I was so excited for this movie, you guys. And then I watched it, and
it's got a great premise. It's a great concept. Side note: the director directed "Sleeping with the Enemy." That was probably his most famous film. I don't know. I guess I'll give it. This is tough for me because I thought it was going to be so much better than it was. I love this movie. Understand? So I'm.
What would 20-year-old Ralph give it?
20 negative 4-year-old Ralph. Five. Okay. Donors. But I will give it. I will have to stay. I'm going to stay in lockstep with Brian here on 2.5.
2.5. Ooh.
2.5 sleepy bees for me.
I mean, I find it funny that as much as we just really didn't care for this movie, but we can agree that it's like it would make a great remake.
Yeah, it would make it's a really great premise.
Yeah,
really great premise. It's just not executed as well as it could have been, and it's dated, and it's not executed well.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. The technical premise of doing it is kind of like The Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
It's The Matrix. Yeah. It's also a little bit of Inception.
Inception.
So it's not like it hasn't been redone in some ways. Nightmare on Elm Street, obviously, but.
And obviously, David says, and make sure we have Tom Cruise running in it.
If you had Tom Cruise running, this would get an extra boner, at least.
And not a sleepy one, just a normal one.
No, right, a regular boner.
Robert is saying, it's like, why is it good movies, but bad movies don't?
Speaking of boners, let's cover.
Yeah, let's look at Sun's cover. So Ralph, do you want to reveal it in 3, 2, 1, and go? Hey! So
perfect. Cool.
Ooh!
The snake in Sun's cover is cooler than the snake.
It's not supposed to be.
It's supposed to be a dragon.
It's supposed to be a dragon.
It's supposed to be a Zetascope dragon.
I was about to say that's like no snake I've ever seen.
I thought it was a snake for a second. I'm not.
It's not. It's not.
I guess snakes don't.
But I'm gonna switch the image bills. It's a really great homage to this cover, and that's I think you crushed it. This looks so good.
Nice.
I love how
the Scope Dragon logo now.
I love how the dragon in the back though. It's like almost like wings on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I kind of. Well, I was trying to think of like shapes and designs that'll look cool, and I kind of wanted it to make it look like the wings were kind of coming in. Can't see me do any hand gestures right now, but they're coming back in.
I'll do them for you.
Yeah.
I'm burning up right now, guys.
There you go.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of the wings to kind of come back, like doing this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get these ideas sometimes, and
I love this because it's accentuating the climax of this where Dennis Quaid has like the crowbar in one hand, the torch in the other hand, and it's like flames everywhere. It's like a really surreal type of composition, and like you have like this really great digital illustrative art style to begin with. So it looks awesome. It really fits the theme and aesthetic or the tone of the film, I think.
thank you. Thanks. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love her hair.
Yeah, I know. I love high ponies.
Yeah, that snatch is real nice. Wait, am I saying that right? It's snatched, right? Snatched hair. All right, we're gonna move on.
No, let's do another hour about the hair.
Well, it's funny if you really want to get meta into this. The hair looks like the cowl of a cobra. So there's my little
It does.
English teacher read into it. Now you see the artist that depicted the hair.
Oh,
Snake. Meanwhile, the artist is like, no, not at all.
it's actually
so
really hard to talk about the art that you make because
This is now.
that's how you talk, right? That's how you express yourself is visually, not otherwise I would write. I don't know.
Exactly.
And any other pieces of this composition that you really enjoyed, or maybe you thought you could improve on, or like was there anything or this is perfect? I think it's perfect. So
No, I like it too.
Fantastic. I like it.
I wish I'd watched the movie first, and then I could have actually probably come up with some different ideas. But
What would you have done differently now that you've seen the movie?
I would have put the kids in the background. No, I'm just kidding. The kids burning in the back.
Especially on the extra one. Oh, yes, dead.
I don't know. It actually takes me a couple of hours to like think of
Thing.
like set things up, and sometimes I get ideas while I'm painting too. So
if you had watched the movie before, would you have done? I would love to see your take on the crazy hallway scene, like I don't know, someone like a kid running and like your version of the Snake Man chasing after them with like all the weird architecture or design. I think that'd be really cool to see in your style.
yeah, totally. That's
She-
definitely
she
the
is
staircase.
available for- she's definitely available for private commissions there, Charles. Chris. So let's, you can have any idea you want, buddy.
Take my money.
Enter
Michael said that he would definitely watch it based on your cover for sure.
What?
Michael said he would definitely watch the movie
Michael.
based on your cover.
Okay. Thanks, Michael.
Hell yeah. Awesome. So I think does anyone else have any other questions
You
for
don't need
Sons?
to-
Brian says he can't wait to own it.
Yes.
Nice.
And you don't need to watch the movie to own this cover. That's the good news.
Yeah, you don't have to watch One Sleepy Boner. You can just buy this.
Yeah. And speaking of buying the cover and things to be excited about, the cover is now live on the web store. So I'm gonna post that in the comments. So the cover right now, this is the 250 print version. So if you're part of the 2021 Collectors Club poster program, this is the book that has the special sticker. So I'm going to show that on camera for a second. So here's the book, and literally packaged on the back or in the bag and board is that small sticker. So you can slap it onto your poster for your Collectors Club progress. And the 100 print run version is also available on the store. So I'll post a link to that in a second. And if you are part of the subscription program, you don't have to do anything else. You're going to be automatically billed. You're going to get this amazing showcase museum style version on the back. You also get the mini art print, and these are really, really, really awesome showcases. Like they grade really high on their own. And if you look on Brian's screen, he has all the showcases hanging in the background.
He does. He's the most organized. Of them.
I've put mine here just off camera
Marilyn, why do you have a blue screen and nothing on the blue screen?
because I didn't feel like tidying up.
I love it. I love it.
He's underwater.
This guy.
Love it.
You could
No,
have
no, my computer's too old to actually do the virtual screen there.
We love it.
So you just covered. Oh, can I? I don't want to tell a story because I don't want to be watching. It's a fun.
Now she's like,
yeah.
I had a Zoom meeting the other day, and it was like this. It was a producer friend, and I was like, the whole time I'm like, oh, he lives in a really fucking nice place. Like, look at that back. and then halfway through, like his hands were disappearing. I'm like, oh my God. And then I couldn't stop thinking about what's behind it. Because it was like clearly for the first 30 minutes of the conversation, I really thought it was. So I was like, dude, you don't have, it's just me. Like, you don't need to do that. But I hope you're not watching, sir.
It's okay. It's a Zeboscope screen.
I just think it was funny. This isn't my real background.
No.
Yeah, I got that.
Thanks,
That's
man.
not mine either.
We've said it. We've almost said it all, guys.
I have one more thing. Ralph, are we allowed to tease the layouts for the next cover? No? Yes? No?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
Let's
All right.
shoot the layouts and then let's try to guess what the next movie is.
All right. Ralph, you want to do it or you want me to do it?
You go ahead.
All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. This is a quick teaser, so look quick. 3, 2, 1. Bam. Here it is.
Go back.
And,
Get her out.
and there we go. There we go. The first look is free. That's it.
Well, it's fine. You could have kept it up. Do we have any guesses of what the movie is next month?
I'm pretty sure
You
the
guys
title was
probably
on.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I just saw it.
Oh, was it on the thing? Did it say?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, the cat's out of the bag. All the full movie club schedule is on our comic book ads. So if you want a little bit more sneak peek of what's coming up, we teased another movie that's coming up, Terminator. So excited for that.
We don't know when it's, you know. But next month is Night of the Comet. If you guys remember Night of the Comet,
I've never heard of it.
you're nuts. You are nuts. You just want a 6 out of 5 comets.
My God.
Sure.
It's going to be amazing. Another movie I saw as a child.
Is it 80s?
It's 80s.
Yeah,
We're also
you're definitely gonna want to do a double dose of mushrooms.
I will.
Yes.
I would. Night of the Comet is very campy, but it's also it's a cult classic, I would say. Chris, have you seen that one?
I
actually
probably
haven't
seen
seen
it, but I
it.
don't remember it.
Mhm.
We're trying to get a couple of the actors from the movie. We'll see what we can do.
Very cool. Do we have a confirmed date for the next? No.
So our next movie night will be March 26th. So same date.
Oh,
Awesome. Very cool. And then we'll have all of our amazing guests, Brian, Marilyn, Crystal's son, possibly a celebrity guest, and fingers crossed. And just want to thank everyone for, taking out the time for, hanging out with us, being such great guests. Thank you to our fans. Where can everyone find you online, especially Son? You're doing great work as always. And Marilyn, Brian, I'm sure you have some really cool projects. Oh, and Crystal, you just shoot all the time. So starting with Son, where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook. My name's the same on both, Sun Kamanaki. And then I'm also doing some fun stuff on Patreon, where it's basically an OnlyFans for cartoons. Yeah.
For cartoons.
What's your Patreon? Isn't it like patreon.com like Art of Sun?
Yeah.
Or yeah, there we go. Cool. I'll post that in the comments. And Brian, where can people find you online?
Sure. On the socials, there's Facebook, the Brian C. O'Halloran, YouTube, the O'Halloran, Twitch, Brian C. O'Halloran, Twitter, Brian C. O'Halloran, and Brian C. O'Halloran on Instagram. I also have my podcast, The O'Halloran on Facebook, The O'Halloran on YouTube, Twitch, Brian C. O'Halloran, The O'Halloran on Twitter and on Instagram. Me and Marilyn, we are going to be doing a virtual kind of con one-on-one kind of chats with fans tomorrow.
That's really
Get your
awesome.
order in tonight at 11 p.m. West Coast time is the last time for the orders to go in. Go to wizardvirtual.com.
Do it, guys. That's gonna be really fun, actually.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, guys, check that out for sure.
Amazing. And here's a quick banner for Brian's socials.
We can't keep track.
Maryland, what about you?
So you can find me, Marilyn Gigliotti, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Twitter is also that Clerks Girl. And you can occasionally find me on TikTok as well.
Ooh,
Very cool.
You're in the TikTok.
It's very occasionally.
Dennis gonna get a TikTok soon, and Chris is gonna be in charge of it.
Hey.
But he just right now.
Crystal, where can people find you online? And are you doing any Twitch live streams tonight?
Tonight, no. So I can only do like 2 to 3 hours max at a time right now.
She's with us tonight, Chris.
Yeah, with you guys tonight. I've
Oh,
actually
that's
got the
right.
thing for
I
that.
completely forgot. My bad. That was bad on me.
But yeah, I do stream a lot on Twitch and Instagram occasionally, and that's pretty much it. I don't really do too much else. So
Awesome.
yeah, you can find me. I'm Brian. See.
Oh yeah. Well, thank
We'll
you.
figure it out. We're just flashing them all up. You guys know where to find these guys. They're awesome. You'll find Chris, and myself in 11 minutes. On we're doing a murder mystery, guys. In case you were wondering.
I used to do those.
I should have made Marilyn do it. I just felt bad asking you, but Crystal's like, you didn't feel bad asking me.
I was thinking it. I didn't say it out loud, but I was thinking it.
Well, Marilyn, we're doing you a favor. We're gonna test it out, and we're gonna get all the kinks out. And the next time we do one, you're gonna be part of it. And
Also, of course, Brian, Sun backed out on us. How do you feel about that?
Oh, see the guilt tripping I have to do.
you monster! How dare you, Ralph?
We'll be broadcasting on our VIP Facebook page in 10 minutes, guys. So join us for that. If you're a VIP, you can still join and watch. And that's it.
Yeah.
That is
Well, I
all.
think that's it. Thank you to all our guests. We love you. Thank you to all
You're
our fans for
welcome.
tuning to Movie Club. Please hop on over to the VIP Facebook group. We'll be going live in 10 minutes. You'll watch us try to figure out who done it, or we might fail. Who knows? So,
We don't know.
Yeah.
All right,
Ciao.
all right.
Man, watch out for the snake.
Watch out.